30 years after cloud seeding was invented, it is used as a weapon of war. Operation Popeye, weather warfare over Vietnam, also called Operation Motor Pool, make mud, not war. And this is a C-130 with a silver iodide dispenser rack right there. The U.S. Air Force 54th Weather Reconnaissance Squadron used 3 planes to modify the weather over Vietnam for warfare from 67 to 72. 3 planes. Take that, all you people who say you'd have to have every plane involved in a conspiracy to every flight commit. No, 3 planes modify the weather for warfare. And here you could see the U.S. Navy at China Lake's cold cloud modification system. Here's those dispenser racks that you're seeing. There's also a cold cloud modification bomb that dispenses silver iodide for cloud seeding. And this funky contraption right here for spraying stuff. Oh, yeah. So not a conspiracy, guys. The intention was to soften road surfaces, cause landslides, wash out river crossings, and maintain saturated soil conditions beyond the normal monsoon seasons. So this is the Ho Chi Minh Trail, making it impossible for them to move their supplies. You've all seen video of the soldiers up to their knees in mud. It worked. So why is this all important? Because Operation Popeye got busted. And if it weren't for this hero, Jack Anderson, amazing reporter, I'd never heard of him until I started researching this project. Then I saw what a real journalist is. He was in Lyndon Johnson's Oval Office and saw a sheet of paper on his desk that said, Laos operations continue at present plus Popeye to reduce the trafficability along infiltration routes, and authorization requested to implement operational phase of weather modification process previously successfully tested and evaluated in some area. And he said, what the heck is that? And he was nosy. And if it weren't for that hero, and then if it weren't for Senator Pell, who was also willing to hold some secret hearings in Congress to find out WTF, we wouldn't know about any of this. So those 2 guys, that's why I dug up their pictures. I want you to see their faces. Those 2 heroes, guys. They held these hearings January 25th, March 20th, July 26th, 1974. And at these hearings, I've got transcripts of these 2, January 25th and March 20th. You can get those on climatviewer.com. I cannot find any transcripts for 26. And I saw a video of a person who was interviewed who said that the hearings for this hearing is still classified to this day. So please, somebody in the viewing audience, find me the transcript for the July 26, 1974 meeting, and I would love to see it. And it will be called the Subcommittee on Oceans and International Environment, Committee for Foreign Relations, United States Senate, 93rd Congress, 2nd session. So please find that. And the title of this hearing is The Need for an International Agreement Prohibiting the Use of Environmental and Geophysical Modifications as a Weapon of War. So they're having a hearing saying that we need to have an international ban on weather warfare. This is a bad idea. At that hearing, top brass lied under oath, saying, we have not, as Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird, we have not, as Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird previously said, ever engaged in weather modification activities in northern Vietnam. Lied under oath all the way to the end. So for those who say conspiracies, not a thing, even when they were busted, even when they were in front of Congress, the Secretary of Defense lied, the top defense lawyers lied, they lied. So what happened? As a result of these hearings, there was some transparency finally in America as a result of weather modification. So now there was the Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972, the National Weather Modification Policy Act of 1976, and both of these basically required you to tell the Secretary of Commerce and NOAA, when you're going to modify the weather. So they came up with these forms right in front of you. Initial report on weather modification activities, put your name, your affiliation, blah, 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 where you're going to do it, size of area you want to do, target area, description of weather modification apparatus, modification agents, and their dispersal rates, the techniques employed, etc. Describe how you're going to modify the weather. Expected termination date. Then you have to have a follow-up report and a final report. This is the same paper. And it says right here, month, days that you modified it. What was your purpose? Increase precipitation, hail, to get rid of hail, alleviate. This is called hail mitigation or fog mitigation. Other. I just want to experiment, bro. I don't really have a purpose. I want to see what happens. Hours of apparatus operations by type, airborne or ground. We went over that earlier. It's either a silver iodide flare in the air on a plane or ground-based cloud seeding generator. Just one moment. Let me clear my throat. And then over here, type and amount of agent used, silver iodide, carbon dioxide, urea. That is fertilizer, bro. Sodium chloride, that is salt, and other. Just, I made some new stuff up. Let's use ions. How about that? More on ions later. So these files, it says expires December 31st, 2007. The other one I believe was 2008. But regardless, both of these reports that you're looking at right now have expired, and I have not been able to find a new version since. So if anybody can find me the current reporting form, this one also says 2007. I have not been able to find one. They removed it from the corporate.noaa.gov website after I published it. It's no longer there. So anyway, NMOD was the end result of these hearings and, of course, the transparency laws you just saw. They started signing it in 77. They finished it in 78. The green ones here are people who signed it, are parties to the agreement. Yellow, they only signed it. And red, they're like, bro, we're not really modifying the weather and we don't care about your thing. So what does it ban? It bans military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques having widespread or long-lasting severe effects any one of those. If it's hostile, if it's widespread, if it's long-lasting, or if it has severe effects, that's now illegal. Problem with that. Well, problem in a second. Also, there was, because the Congress people were basically like, you know, wait a minute, we're banning weather warfare. We can modify the weather. You know, I mean, can you imagine all the Congress people were like, what the heck? We modify the weather? I need to know more. So they ordered this report, and this has been shared many times on many different websites, and people always cite it as confirmation that chemtrails are a thing, and you don't know the whole history. Now you do. That's the purpose of this presentation. You know, really educate the public on this. So this is a summary, 784 pages, to basically tell all the Congress people, all right, we've been modifying the weather since 46, and here's all of the stuff going on today, because none of them knew. Does that sound like today to you? Does that sound like why I'm bringing this up, why it's in this presentation? Because, and this is the following year, they did a breakdown of everything, and you can see airborne, that's about 3,000 hours of airborne flights doing cloud seeding. And then you see about 30,000 hours of ground-based seeding. So Irving B. Crick, the little known guy, his invention is well more used, even though, you know, Vincent Shaver, it's cloud seeding. I get it. He gets all the credit, but wow, man, that's amazing. So it's a very popular way to do it. And even here, dry ice, you see that? That's pretty interesting. So the point of all this, NMOD actually is completely useless. It has no teeth at all. It's just an agreement. It's a piece of paper. There's no way to detect weather warfare to this day. So I'm trying to hit on a solution here, because at the end of the day, we've all been talking about this. I've been talking about this for, 6 years now. And I've seen a solution about 3 years ago, and I call it the clarity clause. We're going to get to that by the end of the presentation. But the point of this is that one thing we can all agree on, we want to catch people doing this stuff. If somebody is doing weather warfare, I think everybody can agree that that would be a bad thing, and you'd want to catch the people doing it. Unfortunately, there's no way to catch them. There's no way to prove the case in a court of law, and there's no way to really enforce a punishment. So what are you going to do? Bad China, bad Russia, bad America. And what are you going to do? So that's what we're talking about here. So let's now flash forward to the future. Now that we got an education on just from 1915 to 1978. There's way more in the gap there, but I don't want to drag this out. I wanted to show you a slice in time, and now we're going to watch history repeat itself. Where are we today? The blue gold rush. Fresh water has been dubbed blue gold in many publications, as potable water will be to this century what oil was to the last century. Write it down, memorize it. It's a fact. So why is water so important? Well, countries are spending millions to control the weather. Here's why. That article went way too popular, so it got renamed to China spent millions on a shady project to control the weather ahead of the Beijing Olympics, and dozens of other countries are doing it too. Yeah, right. So this is a much more accurate spending millions. Weather on demand, making it rain is a global business. And would you like to pay Oliver Travel Company? They will clear the sky of clouds on your wedding day. You can pay them to clear the sky. A freaking travel company is modifying the weather and advertising it on the damn Daily Mail for 100,000 euros. So this is not even, it's getting to a point where it's no longer even secret. They're just out in your face. We're spending millions of dollars every day on modifying the weather, and we will totally do whatever you want for money. Basically, just give us some money and we'll do it. And then this is the cloud seeding projects, of course. You can see these worldwide. These are just a couple, but the ground-based cloud seeding generators we were talking about, they're all over America. I wasn't able to do this in Arizona, so I'm going to do this here because you can see them. These are the ground-based cloud seeders across America. I'm going to just turn them on real quick and let you get an idea. These are the ones I've been able to find so far. That's a lot of ground-based cloud seeders. And this map is available at climateviewer.org, and you just click on geoengineering. But seriously, that's a lot of cloud seeding generators. My pictures are missing, but we'll fix that after the video. So anyway, back to the show. Cloud seeding is now right back at it with the hurricanes. Even though NOAA said they'd never do it again, I've got two new mentions that Department of Homeland Security and NOAA are actually going to work together on this. Crazy stuff. So they had this hurricane modification workshop in 2008. This is funded. You see the NOAA logo, and you see that it's a Homeland Security thing. And the Earth Systems Research Lab, which is NCAR, the world's head of weather modification research, NCAR or UCAR, National Corporation for Atmospheric Research, Boulder, Colorado. Anyway, go look it up. Homeland Security funded this because of Katrina, and they said they didn't want to ever have another Katrina, billions of dollars in damages and loss of life. If we can prevent that, then this is a national security concern. How could we steer let's just go straight to the quote, Undersecretary Jay Cohen, DHS, to investigate the possibility of modifying track, speed, winds, and rain of hurricanes. Yeah. So this is a real thing, and you need to go watch you can read the entire report on climateviewer.com. And these are the guys that went to it. And some of these are actually geoengineering guys like John Latham and Stephen Salter. In the slide notes, you can actually see the names for all these numbers here. So it really happened. Moving along, the U.S. military is like, who needs NMOD? Let's just go ahead and do some weather warfare again. This is two FOIAs. They came from the sunshine-project.org off of the archive.org because it was deleted from the internet. Yes, I dug this up from the Wayback Machine. And on the first slide, you see that this is the U.S. Air Force Phillips Laboratory, and it says weather modification using carbon black. And then they talk about from 1995 to 2004, how much it would cost to implement this system of carbon black cloud seeding, and what they would do on each of those years, ending in operational capability in 2004. This is not a coincidence, as you're about to see. And then over here on the other side, you've got, wait for it, the U.S. Navy China Lake. So the U.S. Navy over here is saying weather modification, we would like to do this. Again,